Fred, I would like for you to have a seat. I have some concerns I would like to talk with you about. Um, First, I want to let you know that our common goal between both of us is giving good help and quality care. I believe that at this moment there might be a need to recheck our environment about giving good help and quality care in our communications with the group. I have some concerns from our colleagues that I want to share with you here coming up, but I want to explain that this is not about blame. We're not here to talk about blame or assigning blame, but I just want to make sure that we're here to reestablish our common goals of the whole team. Fred, it was been reported to me that you roll your eyes a lot at the doctors or even your colleagues at work, just similar to what you did just now. And I would like to ask you if you would describe this as good behavior. Well, not really, but we are short-staffed, and I need to get going faster. And just sitting there and talking to them, it always seems to take so long. And like they repeat over and over, and I just don't quite understand why everything has to take so long. I have things to do. We are just so understaffed. Well, Fred, I understand that, but right now we're here to talk about your behavior, not staffing or understaffing at the moment. So, how would you describe your behavior? Well, I guess, Mr. Ed, I would just have to say that it's not a good gesture, and it does show that I was being impatient. Well, I think that's good. That's correct there, Fred. Um, I'm glad that you see it that way, and I'm glad you're able to feel comfortable to answer them, answer these questions properly or in a honest way. So I would like to share that there's also been instances where you've been huffing, when people ask questions during huddle. Um, Several of your colleagues have made that complaint. Well, Fred, I think that's exactly what your colleagues are trying to talk to you about or explain to us about. And do you have any comments about that exact thing, about why are you huffing and what it means to you or what you see that it means to the people around you? Well, it's like, I've got so much to do and we're still understaffed again. I keep coming back to that. We have so much to do. People keep asking the same questions over and over in huddle. It just seems like, do they all have dementia? Like, why do they have to ask the same question over and over? I don't understand these people. Haven't they been nurses long enough to understand what's going on? So I just have things to do, and I can't understand it. Well, Fred, I want to make sure that right now we're discussing your actions and not necessarily the staff's alertness or dementia or staffing issues again. I want to make sure that right now we're here to discuss your actions. Well, I guess you're right. I guess huffing doesn't convey the right tolerance or the proper attitude. I'm sorry. Well, Fred, are you feeling upset or are you feeling defensive? No. Why would you ask? Well, Fred, body language can be a telltale sign. Things such as when you have your arms folded. And these are defensive acts and show that you very well could be upset. Yeah, I guess you're right. I do see what you mean now. I guess I need to keep my eyes open and be thinking about this a lot more. I didn't realize I was acting so defensive, either here with you or my colleagues. Well, Fred, I'm glad that you see that. And I'm glad that we can communicate it well enough to get back to making this the team effort in the sense that we all need to be together. shows good health and good care for our patients, and that's all that matters. I would like for us to continue this, and maybe we can meet once a week and talk about how we are improving, or if you need any additional help. Meanwhile, I would love to listen to you and understand about the staffing issues that you have a concern with. I would most appreciate you and I getting together and being able to rectify that situation. Thank you. Well, I wanted to end this and give this a little bit of a critique and talk about the lateral violence that happens in the operating room, the hospital system itself. This is a huge topic of communication that we are working towards at the Bon Secours. And I know that St. Francis in itself is taking a huge stance against the lateral violence. And a lot of that has to do with covert or what do they call that? Overt acts. And some of those acts that were demonstrated today by Fred, Fred demonstrated covert things such as rolling their eyes, and when he rolls his eyes, it's things that are in fact what AORN calls it is lateral violence. Fred also displayed like overt acts of intimidation, techniques such as huffing, questioning, these type of things when he's mad about people in huddle that are asking the same questions over and over, and using intimidation factors, or maybe trying to tell them to stop asking questions, or when you do huff and those people get uncomfortable by the fact that you're huffing and they get scared of you. And those are intimidation factors that are out in the open that are just wrong. AORN talks about singling out or scrutinizing others. They discuss that in their literature that is a form of lateral violence. So I just want to last touch on the fact that communication is the biggest, is one of the biggest things that you can do is communicate with each other, especially giving helpful, honest, constructive criticism. That type of communication is what is needed most in order to be able to keep our patients safe, ourselves safe, and our colleagues safe. So thank you. I had actually a little bit of fun doing this, and thank you.